I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you...
I think she's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10.
Just last week, Joy Behar found herself at the receiving end of Bill Maher's sharp criticism. His remarks about her quickly went viral, sparking widespread discussion. Many people celebrated Maher's takedown, arguing that it was long overdue. For years, Behar has been known for her outspoken opinions, often making controversial and provocative statements. In the latest episode of Real Time with Bill Maher, the comedian and political commentator weighed in on the stark differences between Republicans and Democrats. He presented his own definition of the divide, describing American politics as a two-sided struggle where individuals are expected to adhere strictly to the beliefs and actions of their political party.
And by the way, out there, that hat that you keep wearing, that red hat that says "Make America Great Again," that tells people that you go along with this. So you might as well just put a swastika on the hat.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Because we see it anyway.
I'm not going to defend Donald Trump ever, but I would never say that we should put the swastika on the cap, because I think you can hate Donald Trump. You can't hate everybody who likes him. It's half the country. I don't want to live in that country. I don't want to live in the country where I hate half the country, and I don't hate half the country.
How dare you disagree with me?
Maher argued that in today's political climate, it is no longer enough to support a cause or ideology selectively. Instead, people are pressured to accept every stance taken by their party, even if they personally disagree with some aspects. This has created an environment where independent thinking is discouraged, and party loyalty takes precedence over reason. According to Maher, the current landscape of political discourse demands complete agreement with the prevailing views within popular culture. He described Republicans as the party of no masks and lock her up, a reference to their opposition to pandemic restrictions and their hostility toward prominent Democratic figures. Meanwhile, he suggested that Democrats present themselves as the righteous champions of social justice, stirring up strong emotions and dominating the media with their narratives of fairness and morality. This sets the stage for a broader discussion on how political affiliations shape public perception, influence media coverage, and fuel controversy.
Well, I had a different question, but it struck me that in the first segment you used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're...
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected.
Yeah.
So the term woke has been, in my view, co-opted by the right and weaponized and bastardized. And so I was surprised to hear you use the term.
It seems that in today's hyper-polarized environment, gaining media attention is no longer about merit or achievements. Instead, as Maher alluded to, it has become a matter of public perception and image. He referenced President Donald Trump's infamous "flawless 10" comment, implying that people in the spotlight often receive recognition not for their expertise, but for how well they fit into certain media-driven narratives. This concept of superficial qualifications is particularly relevant in the latest controversies involving The View co-host Joy Behar and newly appointed Trump press secretary Caroline Leavitt.
Because historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the Black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words
and
migrate.
So why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice, who's not for that? But words do migrate. Now, I'll use any term you want,
Okay.
because maybe that is...
So, what exactly did Behar say that prompted such a strong response from Maher, and why has her commentary sparked such outrage on social media? Before we continue, subscribe to our channel. Also like, comment, and share. Let's break it down.
That the left hasn't changed. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when it was the conservatives who hated the Jews.
Yeah.
Okay? That was a joke. But,
Too dark, too dark.
Well, maybe it is, but it's true. I mean, you know, if I had any doubt that I was right about the change that's happened in the left, watching people protest for a terrorist organization like Hamas.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it...
The drama began when Joy Behar made comments about Caroline Leavitt's qualifications for her new role as Trump's press secretary. Instead of acknowledging Leavitt's credentials and experience, Behar dismissed her by making a bizarre remark about her physical appearance. According to Behar, Leavitt was only given the position because she is a size 10, implying that her appointment was based on superficial qualities rather than her professional capabilities. This remark immediately drew criticism, as it suggested that women's worth in politics could be reduced to their dress size, an argument that contradicts the very feminist principles Behar often claims to uphold. Co-host Alyssa Farah Griffin quickly pushed back against Behar, pointing out Leavitt's impressive background and qualifications. However, Behar refused to acknowledge these facts, doubling down on her stance. This led Bill Maher to step in and offer his perspective on the matter.
I'm nervous about saying anything against Biden because I feel, not that I have so much power, and you have some more than I do, obviously, but...
Oh, I don't know about that.
Are you afraid that you might, influence people who are on the fence?
I think you lose all credibility. I do. I mean, my bond with my audience has always been I don't pull a punch.
Yeah.
My bond with my audience is you're not going to like everything I say, but I'm saying what I really think is true.
Bill Maher did not hold back in his critique of Behar. He argued that her comments were emblematic of a larger issue within the Democratic Party, an obsession with enforcing ideological conformity. According to Maher, the modern Democratic Party has developed a habit of vanishing people or pressuring them to conform to its specific worldview. He suggested that this tendency has made the party increasingly intolerant of differing opinions, even among its own members. Maher's remarks struck a chord with many viewers, particularly those who feel that the Democratic Party has become too focused on social justice rhetoric at the expense of open discussion and debate.
I want to talk about Whoopi Goldberg because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week before.
Sure.
So everybody was like, oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the karma. First of all, I'm going to talk about this at the end of my show next week, teaser. But there is no fucking thing as karma, okay? Get over that. Whoopi attacks me on a regular basis. She says stupid shit on a regular basis.
The conservative commentator Greg Gutfeld also joined the discussion, ridiculing Behar's remarks. He sarcastically questioned why Behar would call Leavitt a size 10 when, in his words, she's more like a 1.5. He implied that Behar's comment was driven by jealousy and bitterness, rather than genuine concern over qualifications. Gutfeld went on to say that Behar is 1.5 light years away from a perfect score, suggesting that her criticisms of Leavitt were hypocritical. His comments were met with laughter from his audience, as many agreed that Behar's attack on Leavitt seemed unnecessary and mean-spirited.
Also, Joy Behar is from Hollywood, where literally everyone gets cast, except for Joy Behar apparently, based on the basis of some sort of physical appeal. I mean, you don't see a lot of normies making it big in Hollywood.
Meanwhile, Ben Shapiro also weighed in on the controversy. He dissected Behar's argument, pointing out that it lacked logic and substance. He noted that Behar has a history of making questionable statements without providing any real evidence to support her claims. Shapiro specifically addressed Behar's assertion that women who chuckle a lot scare off men. He called this statement absurd and questioned why Behar was attempting to make such a broad generalization. He further argued that Behar's criticism of Kamala Harris's laugh was equally nonsensical, pointing out that people's reactions to Harris have more to do with her political track record than her laughter.
Apparently it's bad that Caroline Leavitt is pretty. It would be better if she were hideous. We need like a hideously ugly person to be the White House press secretary. I mean, if a Republican said that about a Democrat, that the reason that a woman was picked was because she was pretty, then probably the world would cave in about their ears. Now, the reality is that Democrats do pick people based on external characteristics all the time. They just open.
Behar also made an argument about Trump's election victory, claiming that he did not win by any kind of mandate. She pointed out that Trump beat Kamala Harris by only 1.6% and that Joe Biden in turn defeated Trump by 4.5%. Yet no one referred to Biden's victory as a mandate. Conservative commentator Michael Knowles responded to Behar's claim by addressing a common misunderstanding about the electoral process. He explained that Democrats tend to perform better in the popular vote because Republicans do not actively campaign in deep blue states like New York and California. Since these states are guaranteed Democratic strongholds, Republican candidates see little value in expending resources there. This, he argued, skews the perception of popular support. Knowles further suggested that Behar's argument was misleading and lacked context. By ignoring the realities of how presidential campaigns are structured, she was distorting the bigger picture.
Too far. What's Behar saying? She only got that job because she's hot. That actually isn't true. She's a very nice-looking lady, but it isn't true that that's why she got the job. She got the job because she was the national spokesman for the campaign, and she did a very good job in that role. And the campaign was hugely successful and communicated very effectively. That is why she got the job. Even if Caroline Leavitt weren't a pretty lady, even if she were...
Following this heated exchange, many observers noted that Behar is not winning any new fans. In fact, some have speculated that her repeated controversies could be diminishing her influence, even within her own audience. Critics argue that Behar has become predictable, offering the same kind of inflammatory remarks without adding any real value to political discussions. Even within liberal circles, there seems to be growing fatigue over her rhetoric. According to inside sources, The View's producers are also taking note of the backlash. While Behar has been a mainstay on the show for years, there is speculation that her repeated missteps may eventually impact her role on the program.
A male, gremlin, monstrous-looking fellow, she still would have gotten the job based on how effective the campaign communications was. Furthermore, Caroline Leavitt ran for Congress. I was talking to Roger Stone about this when we were trying to figure out who the picks for the administration were going to be. He said, I think Leavitt's going to get the White House press sec job. I think she earned the job. And I like that she...
The latest controversy between Joy Behar, Bill Maher, and other commentators highlights a broader trend in American politics, one where personal attacks and ideological purity tests are replacing substantive discussions. Bill Maher's criticism of Behar resonated with many because it reflected a frustration with the current political landscape. Whether one agrees with Maher's perspective or not, his willingness to challenge both sides of the political spectrum has made him one of the few voices still advocating for open debate.
Now to the cackling witch herself, Joy Behar from The View, whose jealousy is something to behold. Here is her assessment of Trump's new White House press secretary, Caroline. Of course, she's on The View and not working for the most powerful man in the world, because Caroline would wipe the floor with you bitter banshees any day.
At the end of the day, the exchange between Behar and Maher serves as a reminder that political discourse should be rooted in facts, experience, and logic, not personal attacks or arbitrary labels. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more updates and in-depth analysis on the latest political controversy.